Blue Lock Chapter 328, titled God. Now it's been a while since I've done one of these, likely because, I don't know, I've not really been engaged with the chapters as much. Like that Nigeria game, which just felt like a flex almost. Like, I mean, it's the post time skip, you know, every manga has this, but it just didn't feel enjoyable to read, and obviously it was against Nigeria. But the thing is, I was like, you know, Nigeria won all these tournaments, but look at recent memories. Like, to be honest, we've kind of sucked. We have not been good at the U17, U20 men's. Like, we just lost, and our coach just said it was because of black magic. Like, we're actually cooked at the moment, but you know, we lost the game. But like, the chapters weren't really that exciting. I mean, it had a good ending, you know, with the goal with Isagi, but just overall, like, it just felt flat for me. But anyway, we get back to the chapter in which, after the game, Ego wants to talk with Isagi, and he takes him to the roof, in which he kind of asked him why he decided to go that route and try and score another goal when the game was basically decided. There was no reason to take that risk, you know, and Isagi kind of gives an interesting answer. Obviously, when you are winning games or you're up, you want to try certain things, you know, you've put into practice, and you wouldn't have the chance to do so when you were, you know, it's a close game. You don't want to do anything that's going to cause you from getting subbed off, and I think that's why he did try to do it at that point, in which is why he did say, you know, I wanted to do it now because I'm a striker and I wanted to try out a new thing I was practicing. And Ego does agree that, you know, fine, that was a good time to do it, but to not do so in the future, because stuff like that does tend to overshadow your teammates, you know, and then your teammates want to do the same thing, and then there's more disjointed, you're not trusting each other. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are all strikers, so it's already a fine line when a player outshines another, because at the end of the day, the other guy's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna do one better than that, and it's not a sustainable way to play, and Ego just warns him against doing that. And then we get to the basis of this chapter, in which Ego asks Isagi if he thinks there's a god in soccer, and Isagi is kind of confused, as he doesn't understand what Ego is trying to say. And Ego explains to him, when he was playing, he felt this feeling, this moment in which, when he played, he felt like it was a destiny for him to play well and to play at such a high level, that it almost felt like something was pushing him to that point. And for 7 minutes, he felt like the best player in the world. And obviously, this is when he was playing with Noah. And, you know, we're getting a little backstory into, you know, why he even developed this Blue Lock project. We then see Isagi ask, was that the same thing as flow state or the luck formula? And Ego just points out that it's something he developed using those 7 minutes he experienced to kind of push them forward to reach the heights that he did. Isagi does agree that there's some sort of higher power in football, and he does think there's examples of this, including the time he met Bachira, or when he scored the final goal at the game against the U20 Japan team, and then obviously the last goal with Bayern and against Rin's team PSG, or PSG, you don't want to get copyrighted, right? But he does think that there is a higher power when it comes to these things, and I tend to agree to a certain extent. And it's then we see that Isagi asks Ego, you know, what kind of player was he? What did he envision himself being when he became a player? And Ego just responds, he was someone who was full of ideas, but that moment he felt for those 7 minutes, it never happened again, and it caused him to realize that he's probably not going to experience it again. He's not going to see that God anymore, and it caused him to quit, obviously. And we see Isagi, you know, tell Ego that he's gonna become the best player and fulfill his dreams, and we kind of see that alluded to in the first chapter of Blue Lock, with one player standing above the 299 that came from the program. And Ego does kind of want to push him on, but doesn't want to say too much, and he just says, you can go on and fulfill my dreams. I wouldn't even say surpass his dreams, but him as a player. And then he obviously leaves, and we get the end of the chapter. But one thing I do want to highlight from this chapter is that feeling that Ego talked about is something that I feel like all players, not even players, just people in general, when you're so engrossed in something you're doing, you kind of feel like you're being guided toward a certain end or a certain conclusion, and I feel like that's what he was trying to allude to, but you know, it's not something that can be explained, it just has to be felt. And I feel like this chapter does a really good job of slowing things down and kind of resetting the story into, you know, just the next arc, obviously, but also to kind of give the audience a perspective of why Ego is doing what he's doing. And you know, to bring a real life example into this kind of feeling of a higher power, you kind of look at some possible example. For me personally, I look at Mario Götze at the World Cup. If you look back at the entire storyline, if you like it, the script of the World Cup, that was Messi's to lose. It was like every World Cup, it's either Messi or Ronaldo, but that one especially, you know, that they came through so many adversities and everyone was waiting for Messi to finally pass that hurdle, and you know, out of nowhere, this player, Mario Götze, comes on 113th minute of this final, and like fate, the ball finds him, and you know, if you look at the goal itself, it's not like it was an easy finish. He took it off the chest and off a half volley, put it past Romero, who literally could not react to it fast enough, and all of a sudden the narrative kind of changes. Mario Götze is the next star, this and that, but it all came from that kind of divine moment that you just could not have predicted. And you look at Mario Götze's career after, he never quite reached the heights that were expected of him after that World Cup, but that moment you can't take away from him. You can't take away from German fans. You can't take away from the world, because it was something that was so out of body, kind of like the Mbappe goal, where you're just sitting there and you can only imagine it as a player when you're in that moment, that you know, you got to the right position, you had the ability to take that touch and finish, and you were kind of like, it's like you were pushed to end the game in that fashion, because it could have gone to penalties. It was like it's literally the dying minute goal, and that's the kind of thing I feel like Ego or the author's trying to allude to, that you know, there is a sort of script, you don't even like hearing these words, but like a sense of something has been predestined to happen, and in that moment it happened. In this manga, this happened, and that's something that you can't really recreate as a player. And I feel like when players try to, they kind of lose their love for football, and it's happened time and time again. You see many players talk about, you know, the mental toll playing at these kind of high levels take, and it can break some players, and it kind of did break Ego, because you look at it as a player now, he's obviously trying to get the next generation of players out there, but it could happen to anyone. But anyway, enough of that yap session. This was a good chapter, a very good chapter. You know, I think we can all agree on that we've been waiting for this type of different level of storytelling per se in this sort of fast-paced sports manga, but it's a pleasant surprise. And if they make more like this, I will make more videos. But anyway, it's been your boy. Yeah, wow, good chapter. Nothing else to say. But if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe and like, and I will see you in the next one. You have yourself a blessed day. God bless you.